When developing Logan's Shadow, John Garvin, the game's director, turned to the acclaimed author of the brand new novel Patriot Acts, Greg Rucka.
I'm primarily a novelist. I've got about 12 books out, and we've got a movie coming out, Whiteout, which should be out sometime in late 2008. It's based on a graphic novel I wrote for Sony Press, starring Kate Beckinsale. And then in the last several years, I've been one of the core writers at DC Comics. I've written Superman, I've written Wonder Woman, I've written Detective Comics with Batman. Sometimes I'm called one of the architects of the DC universe, which I think is kind of silly. But, you know, I'll take the credit.
What is this, Cordell? What are your people doing here?
After being approached by the developers, Greg dove into the Syphon filter universe and was immediately intrigued.
You know, I have to admit, it wasn't Gabe himself. It was everybody around him. It was the supporting cast and the world he was in. Because Gabe, in and of himself, I thought was really well defined. I was fascinated by Leanne, who was supposed to be this Chinese defector, but was Gabe's second in command. And I was like, and they trust her? What, are they out of their minds?
When Leon's image came back hot, they traced her ID to US intelligence.
That's how Cordell found her.
John had done his treatment for the game, and he sent it to me, and I looked at it and I was like, this is a great frame. There's all this wonderful story here. And I also went through and I said, but why aren't you asking these questions?
So one of the things that Rucka brings to the story and the experience is conflict. So Gabe is not only just trying to find Ghassan al-Battar, who's the main terrorist bad guy, he's also fighting against Robert Cordell, who's his boss and is supposed to be on his side. And he thinks he's fighting against Leon Zing, who has been his longtime partner, and now he suspects that, you know, she's a traitor and she's double-crossed him. So one of the things that Greg brought to that was not just those conflicts, but also how they could affect gameplay.
You're making a mistake, Cordell.
I'm a character-based writer. There are plenty of guys out there who are plot-based. I have always written from a point where I need to know the characters because I think the characters provide the plot. So you give me a character as well-defined as Gabe, we pretty much know what he's gonna do. So if I say, well, this person disappears, or this thing happens, well, how's he gonna react? And then you go from there. And you complicate it, and you complicate it, and you complicate it because you never make it easy on your hero.
Ding, cut the lights. What'd you sign me up for? Who the hell are these guys? That's nuts.
So, you know, putting Gabe in situations where he's not sure who his friends are, cutting Gabe off from his security net, you know, putting him out in a position where the player's gonna feel like they're on their own. I mean, this is all the stuff that Greg Rucka helped bring to the experience.
John and Greg ended up collaborating on the story.
I like the collaborative process. I mean, you look at the comics work, I can't draw to save my life, so I have to have a collaborator. So working with John Garvin was great because he was involved, you know, and there's nothing in this universe he don't know. Or more to the point, if he doesn't know it, he'll be able to create the answer. He's the man who wrote the Bible.
I'm picking up something. A distress signal.
Besides brushing up on the Syphon filter universe, Greg also brought a lot of current events to the table.
I did the research that I always do for things like this, which is a lot. The opening sequence is sort of dressed up as a Somali pirate attack, you know, and that's ripped from the headline stuff. Especially if you're telling a story that is in any way based in the real world, and Logan's Shadow is very much based in the real world. Then you're obligated to get your facts as true as you can without sacrificing drama, right? In the face of telling a good story, the story has to come first.
They're in real trouble.
They're not alone.
After months of hard work, for the first time, Greg got to play something he had written.
John sent me the demo, and I put it in the PSP, started it up, and then just sat there going, that is so cool. That is so cool. My son's 7. He's like, what are you playing, Dad? And I'm saying, I'm playing my game. You know, he's like, can I? I'm like, no, it has shooting. You are 7. You may not shoot yet, you know. But that was pretty neat. That was a hell of a moment.